Hello guys, how you doing today? I hope everybody's doing fine. Um, just wanted to explain my favorite build in the game. It's the Luna's armor set, and it's the poison build. I figure you already heard about it already. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't listen to the people. I found this build on my own um, when I platinumed the game, and I beat the game at level 6 with this gear on No Mercy. This is my first this is my first God of War game, and I loved the game. I enjoyed it, but I beat the game level 6 with this. I pretty much got hit once or twice by like in-game enemies. But when it came to the Berserker King and the Valkyrie King, I did a no hit. It's in my I've shown clips on from TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube. So let's get right into the build. So the weapons, I'm just gonna, this is like the main thing that I really want to explain about these weapons. You don't need weapons for this build. There's so many gear that you can use with weapons. This is not one of them. This is a poison build strictly with parrying, blocking, and barehanding. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But when it comes to the weapons, people always want to say on the YouTube channel or some other channel that, oh well, this is my favorite build. I love this build. This build is so OP and great, and they don't even use the build to its fullest. Um, and it's just like using the build like, okay, if you're a guy that barely gets hit, you barely get hit in the game, but you're using the biggest defense stat gear in the game, and you're saying you love the gear, why are you using that gear? Why are you using it? For what? If you barely get hit in the game, you want to go more offense, right? So it's just like this one. So the weapons, when it comes to the grips, because people ask like, man, what should you use? Nothing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what grip you use. What grip fits you. Use what grip that fits you. For the axe for the runic attacks, I use this one. Nobody doesn't really use this one. I've never seen nobody use this. I'm like the only one that probably used this thing. But it slows down time, and you throw your axe and you actually become barehanded. You can actually hit people while the axe is hitting them. Um, the heavy rune attacks, I don't know, man. I just choose this. It's a long animation, but to be honest, any of the rune attacks you can really pick for heavy for that one. Blaze of Chaos, I go Cyclone of Chaos because it has high stun. And with barehanding, you get the most stun out of anything, even better than your weapons and stuff. But I like the Cyclone because it gives a little zoning just in case you need to mid-range something, mid-range attack. Meteoric Slam because, while that's slamming down, you can still barehand and hit people. For the spear, I go Mountain Splitter just in case, like I said, a little bit of zoning. It has, good amount of damage and low amount of seconds. I think this is the best thing in the game when it comes to the poison build is this because the four tornadoes will keep swirling around and it's high stun and it's the highest stun of any heavy runic attack in the spear. So you can use that and you can keep barehanding. So I enjoy that. The shield, I go Dauntless Shield, high risk, high reward. I'm a flashy guy, I like to parry. But like I say, if you're not comfortable with that, use another shield. There's other shields in there that you can block, and you could be more defensive. But this one is you got to be on point because if you miss a parry in game on in-game bosses, you're gonna pay for it. Okay, so but it builds a lot of stun when you parry, and you can throw that, the absorb that you absorb the attack and you throw it right back at him. I love it. Round of deflection, I mean, I really, it's a 50-50 because to be honest, I don't really need to increase timing window on parries, but for people who are struggling on parries and wants to parry better, this would be great. This is great. It's not a big difference, but it helps. So I would use that. If not, I would use this one right here. So shield strikes. If you double tap against stats afflict the enemy, so people who are poison, people who are frost, blah blah blah. You can you you can double tap and it causes an elemental explosion. Now I used it. I don't see a big difference. Um, but you can use it if you want to. It does add with runic and cooldown, so if you want to use it, you could. Sparring Rage, I go with Fury. That's barehanded, doesn't affect anything with poison. I just like it. Actually, I take that back. If your enemy is poisoned and you go into Rage, you actually see damage. I take that back. It actually does, so you actually do damage when they're poison afflicted. Now, Relic, I go with the poison one, of course. The poison leaves pool of poison on the ground. They automatically get poisoned. It's just the cooldown is 134 seconds, so it's like 2 minutes and like 14 seconds. But it's a good way for the ultimate poison build. Um, Now for Freya, we go with the poison summon, runic summon. It is great. I mean, I'm mad that it's a 250-second cooldown because that's a long cooldown. That's like a 4-minute cooldown, but this thing does a lot of poison, boy. I did this with the Valkyrie Queen and she goes straight to green bar. Like it's just so much poison. It's not even funny. The sword, you want the melee attacks with stun on enemies because with the barehanded attacks, you're dealing more stun than anything, than any weapon, than anything in the game. So barehanding while she using her sword is great. So let's get to the armor. So as you know, of course, Luna's armor. Barehanded attacks, parry, and blocking have a high luck chance to deal bonus damage and poison enemies, lowering their power level. So, for of course, if let's say for instance, I face some berserkers at 2 levels above me, which is purple. I think 1 level above you is orange, 2 level is purple, 3 is red. So if basically if you get if you hit them and they get poisoned, and they're purple, they go to orange. If they're on orange, they go to yellow. I think yellow is the same level as you. So I'm at level 9, and the Valkyrie Queen and Berserker Queen is at literally the same level as you. So if you hit them and they inflict poison, they go down a level, so they go to 8, and now you're dealing more damage. The poison goes off quick now. It's like maybe 3 to 5 seconds it goes off. So you gotta be aggressive, okay? But I tell people about this build is that the best thing to do is barehanded attacks. That's why I say weapons don't matter. People on YouTube will mention they love this gear is so OP, but they never use it to its full advantage. And I'm like, bro, you're not even using it right. It specifically says barehanded attacks as the first thing to say, and you don't use barehanded attacks. And if you do use them, you barely use it. But they'll tell you, oh well, if you block, okay, well, are you going to just sit there and block? You're going to sit. Are you going to be because you have to be. If you just don't use no barehanded attacks, you got to be aggressive. For blocking and parrying. The yellow. If you see the yellow circle, you can get out the way, but you can parry it. Now, if it's a red circle, you have to get the hell out of the way. But people don't know how to use the gear right, and I'm just telling you, the barehanded is the best way. That's how I deal the most damage, and that's how everything's good. If you want to use weapons, you can. I just don't recommend it. Okay? There's other gear for that. Okay, so the melee attacks from wrist to waist, it deals 40% damage. Of course, you got to add both of them. 40% damage is a lot, man. That's a lot of damage. But like I said, barehanded attacks, if you hit them 2 or 3 times, they're basically gonna get poisoned. Okay, if you block 2 or 3 times, they're gonna get poisoned. If you parry a couple times, they're gonna get poisoned. Um, but 40% damage is a lot, man. And that's lowering their power level as well. That's just ridiculous. So, and this armor also, what I love about it is that you can actually change the color. So there's 2 colors you can do. I go with all red because it's just beautiful. I don't. The silver is cool, but the red I just feel like it's just more. It's better. It goes with Kratos. Perfect. So the amulet. We amulets. We go to Vanaheim. Vanaheim is number one because we want to build luck. This armor set is basically built off of luck. So we go to Vanaheim set, go 10 luck, cooldown 22 luck, 9 strength, 4 luck. Okay, increases Kratos melee damage against stats afflicted enemies. So that means if he's poisoned, increases by luck. My luck is at 250. We're doing some damage. This one I use because I usually stay above 75%. You can use something else if you want, but I think this is the best one, because the defense at 25, a defense at 325, that's a good amount. That's even more than my luck. So it increases my melee damage even with the melee damage when the person's poisoned, which is 40%. That's a lot. Okay, Niflheim's, I go with that one. These three: the strength 20, defense 2, defense 4, luck 9, defense 3, cooldown 12. These last three you can use like mid guards and all the other ones as guards, but I rather just use the three of the gray ones. Stunning Fang I think is beautiful and great because hitting stun enemies, if they're in the stun animation, you unleash shockwaves while you're hitting them. Plus, you have a chance to increase strength and stun damage. And I'm gonna tell you now, the increased strength is crazy good. Okay, you deal a lot of damage when you get that, and stun damage. Emblem of Illusion, I think this is the most underrated amulet in the game. I don't think nobody really talks about it. Probably because the cooldown is on 60 and it's low. But you're gaining a burst of speed and travel increased distance when invading. So if you need to invade and you need to get out the way quick, like this has helped me beat all types of berserkers and no hitting. With the Valkyrie Queen, no hit. Okay, and plus when they run away, because it seems like the bosses love to run away when you like start comboing them, so you can get faster to catch up to them. The last one, I put this one in, because for you guys, so dodge rolling, because it's great. Dodge rolling will hasten the expiration of burn, poison, and frost. So if you roll 2 times, it's going to get off of you. Okay, now the worst one for me is the frost by far, because the frost, you move in slow motion. You can get tagged by so many hits because you're so slow, you know. Um, but if you roll twice, you're out of it. You're not that poison. You're out of it. So those are my amulets that I love to use. Um, so I just wanted to just mention all that because, like I said, with this build, just get better. To learn how to barehand attacks. There's nothing wrong with restarting checkpoints. There's nothing wrong with having multiple saves in your save data. There's nothing wrong with that. Go back to the boss, learn the moves, parry, time them right. Like I'm a skillful player, but it didn't take one time for me to do this. It took me a little while. Now, did it take me like 25, 30? No, it didn't. It took me like 5 to maybe 7 tries to like no hit somebody because I learned their patterns. Okay, but you can always, everybody's not the same. For example, Game Breaker Guy is one of the best game God of War players ever you'll ever see. I've talked to him a couple of times. If you look at his streams, the man restarts his checkpoint all the time. Okay, because he doesn't like the combos he had and he always say, I got to read these bosses moves, blah blah blah. That's how you become a better player. Okay, don't be impatient. I know there'll be times where you're gonna be like, man, I can't do this. No, keep doing it because you're gonna get better, especially barehanding. If you can barehand, bro, you can do, of course you can do weapons, but barehanding is the hardest thing to do because you got to go up close. There is no zoning. There is no mid-range or long range. You got to get up close, and you got to learn to evade and dodge your attacks. It's great, and it might take longer than most, but if you learn that, then you're great. Like I'm already ready for God of War. Give me God of War. When New Game Plus comes out. Only reason why I'm not doing that is because I'm not I'm not starting all the way over and do all that, do all those missions again. Hell no. I already 100% platinum it. But it's beautiful, man. That I learned this game is my first God of War game, and I went on No Mercy. There's a lot of people who are on went started on no balance. YouTubers that are very popular started on no balance. Give me story, and they struggled against Berserker Kings and stuff like that. They got better, obviously, but they started that way. I started on no mercy, and I found this gear, and I got way better. And this gear is great, but you have to use bare hands. Do not let people tell you, oh, well, this is an OP gear and they use weapons. First of all, this is not an OP gear armor set. This is a build. This is a great build. But OP is melting bosses, okay, away constantly. Yes, you can melt people's life away, but you have to bare hand and parry and block. You have to be kind of skilled to use this armor set for the full advantage. Anybody could put on an armor set and say I poison people because they blocked and parry, but that takes a while. But if you barehand it, you can make your skill play go better and faster. So that's all I wanted to say. I know people wanted me to explain this build, but that's all I have to say about this build. Just do barehanding, learn barehanded, forget the weapons. Okay, but if you need to use the rune text, there's nothing wrong with using the weapons. I'm not saying that. Just start with barehanding. Do it with enemies first if you're struggling, and then go with bosses. That's all. But I hope everybody have a blessed day and be safe. And if you like the video, just like and subscribe. Your boy trying to get some more subscribers. You know, I've been sharing on TikTok and and Facebook and been doing a good job. You know, getting a good amount of views and likes. You know, I just on YouTube I be struggling. So I appreciate if anybody's watching the video, and I hope y'all have a blessed day and be safe.